Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff. Below you, the waves crash violently against the rocks. Behind you, there's a forest filled with 1,000 paths, each leading somewhere unknown. Now imagine you're not just standing at this cliff but also walking through the forest at the same time. Two completely different realities both happening simultaneously. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But here's the question that could change everything you think about the world. What if it's not just possible, but actually how the universe works? This isn't science fiction. It's not some fantasy dreamt up by storytellers. It's something that scientists, right now, are studying in one of the most bizarre and fascinating fields of all time: quantum physics. And at the heart of quantum physics lies one of its strangest ideas: quantum superposition. The idea that something, or even someone, can exist in two or more places or states at the same time. Let me break it down for you. Imagine flipping a coin. In our everyday world, the coin is either heads or tails, one or the other. But in the quantum world, that coin is heads and tails at the same time. It doesn't decide which one it is until you look at it. Crazy, right? But that's the world of quantum superposition. Let's take a trip back in time to an experiment that shocked scientists and turned everything we thought we knew about reality on its head. It's called the double-slit experiment. Don't let the name scare you. It's simple, and I promise it's fascinating. Imagine you have a wall with two narrow slits in it. Now you take tiny particles, let's say little specks of light called photons, and you fire them at the wall. What would you expect to see? Two straight lines behind the slits, right? Easy. But when scientists did this, they found something completely different. Instead of two neat lines, the particles created a pattern, like ripples in water, on the screen behind the slits. It was as if these tiny particles weren't behaving like solid objects at all. Instead, they were acting like waves. But hold on, it gets even stranger. When scientists tried to observe what was happening, when they literally placed a camera to watch the particles, they stopped acting like waves. Suddenly, they started behaving like tiny marbles, creating two simple lines. The act of watching them changed how they behaved. It's as if these particles knew they were being watched and decided to behave differently. How could that be possible? Have you ever felt like life pulls you in two directions at once? Like you're living two lives in your head, one where you make one choice and one where you do the opposite? In the quantum world, particles don't have to choose. They live in both possibilities until something, or someone, forces them to decide. Imagine you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to a sunny beach, the other to a bustling city. In our normal world, you have to pick one. But in the quantum world, you don't. It's like walking down both paths at the same time, experiencing both realities. That's what scientists call superposition. In 2012, researchers managed to put entire molecules composed of thousands of atoms into superposition. These weren't just tiny particles, but actual molecules behaving as though they were in two places at once. Think about that for a second. If something as big as a molecule can do this, what else might be capable of superposition? What if I told you that every choice you've ever made, every road you didn't take, still exists in some way? That there's another version of you out there, living a life where you made a different decision. Maybe a version where you moved to a new city, started a dream job, or even took a chance you were too afraid to take. Quantum physicists believe that this might not just be a theory, it could be real. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that superposition means our universe could be just one of countless others. Every time a decision is made, reality splits, creating another version of events. Could there be a version of you, somewhere out there, living a completely different life? And here's where it gets even stranger. Have you ever felt a deep connection to someone, like you just know what they're feeling, even if they're miles away? Quantum physics has an explanation for that too. It's called quantum entanglement. Two particles can become so deeply connected that no matter how far apart they are, changing one instantly affects the other. In 2020, scientists entangled particles and separated them by over 1,200 kilometers. Yet, when they measured one particle, the other responded instantly, even faster than the speed of light. Einstein himself called this phenomenon spooky action at a distance. Think about that. If particles can communicate faster than light, what does that mean for our understanding of time, space, and even human connection? Here's the big question. If particles and molecules can exist in superposition, why can't we? Some scientists believe that our brains, which are made up of countless tiny particles, might already be operating in ways we don't fully understand. Could it be possible that our thoughts, memories, and decisions exist in multiple states at once? In 2014, researchers found evidence suggesting that certain biological processes in the brain might rely on quantum mechanics. For example, the way plants absorb light for photosynthesis involves quantum superposition. If plants are using quantum mechanics, what's stopping our brains from doing the same? So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you more than just the choices you've made? Could there be parts of you, versions of you that exist beyond the reality you know? And if so, what does that mean for how we live our lives? The world of quantum physics is mysterious, but it teaches us one important thing. Reality isn't as simple as it seems. What we think is impossible might just be waiting for us to understand it. And maybe, just maybe, we're part of something much bigger and more complex than we ever imagined. If you've enjoyed this journey into the world of quantum superposition, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who loves exploring the mysteries of life. Subscribe to Universal Insights for more incredible stories and ideas that will challenge how you see the world. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about the idea of being in two places at once?